What's going on, people? Welcome to another episode of Drawing and Exploring with me, Sam Grubb. I'm here in sunny Sao Paulo. It's a cool, like 21 degrees today. Definitely feels like we're further south. I made my way from Rio 2 days ago. I got a night coach. It was pretty cool. So it was called a sleeper coach, and it had a big comfy bed with like a headrest with sides on it, and then it had this like plate that kind of flipped out from the chair in front of you, and you can rest your legs on that from like the back of your knees down to your feet. So you've got like a full recliner. Slept like a baby. It was great. Felt like I was on Race Across the World. But yeah, made it to Sao Paulo. I've just booked onto a tour of the historic centre, so I'm going to talk a little bit more about the history and the numbers around the city when I've got a bit more info. Now I'm just waiting for my Uber, and it's about a 10-minute ride, so it's not too far away. But I've got an exciting day, excited to be here. Had to tick it off, seeing as it was really close by. That's one thing in Brazil, some of the places people were telling me to go is so big here, so it's tough, like you can't get to everywhere, but Sao Paulo was a must. So I think that's my Uber, just pulled up, so I'm going to jump in. Hola, bom dia. So Sao Paulo is the former capital of Brazil and is Brazil's biggest city, actually one of the largest in the world. It was founded back in 1554, and today more than 12 million people live here. It's the country's financial and cultural hub, known for its massive skyline, endless food scene, os gêmeos, and a mix of neighborhoods that reflect Brazil's diversity. So I'm at this church, we're doing places of worship stuff on this tour. It's the Cathedral Metropolitana de Sao Paulo. It's the fourth biggest Catholic and God church in the world, the guy was saying. He said number one's in Sevilla, number 3 was in Milan, number 2 was in Cologne in Germany, and apparently this is the 4th biggest Catholic and God church. It was built, construction began in 1913, but he said a lot of the stone that was used in the building was donated by Italians, or like the business agreement was with Italians. And he said obviously because of the World War, Brazil and Italy were on different sides of the war, so he said there was like logistical problems, kind of they halted production for a while. But it was completed in 1954. I thought that was pretty interesting. And then it's got a neo-Gothic style, obviously influenced by Italy, specifically the church that's in Florence. But he said also you're going to see some little Brazilian elements in there. For example, the cross that's at the front in the middle is a big green cross, which is apparently a Brazilian thing, obviously their national colour. So learning about this big old cathedral. It's about to be mass, load of people in there getting ready for it. It's funny, it's kind of like, I guess that's their rave in a way. It's like cool look to the stage, it's like a performance. Some people want to go see Vibes Cartel, some people want to go to mass. So this church behind me, this is where Sao Paulo was founded by the Jesuits when they came here. It was founded in, what does it say? Might be my was off here, this could be embarrassing. Yeah, 1554 on the 25th of July. So 25th of July, I think, is St. Paul's Day. So they have a big national festival here and enjoy their holiday. But it's a really interesting city centre. There's a bunch of different influences. So there's traditional kind of like Portuguese buildings from the colonial era, 1 or 2. And then there's stuff with like a Greek influence and like stuff that looks more Italian. And then you've obviously got modern buildings as well, but really interesting skyline. And I found out as well that Sao Paulo is the biggest city in Brazil. I didn't know that. Apparently one of the biggest in the world, top 5 biggest. I'm an idiot, I thought Rio was bigger, but you live and learn. No, thanks. So I just finished the historic centre tour, and this was kind of my favourite part of the tour, this building behind me, right? It's called Edificio Martinelli, and it was the first skyscraper in South America, which is pretty cool. So the first skyscraper in Brazil and in Latin America. It was built in 1924. It's named after the guy who built it, who was an Italian guy. Side note, found out there's a whole bunch of Italians here because Brazil, when they were trying to rebuild post-slavery, invited a bunch of white countries to send their people here, and Italians took to it. They said, yeah, we're going to rock up. They gave them bits of land and stuff like that. But at the time, this was the tallest building in Latin America. It's 30 floors, over 100 meters tall. And the interesting thing was, because people were saying it was unsafe, the dude who built it he said, okay, cool, I'm going to build a penthouse myself on top of it. So on top of it, you can still see the penthouse where he used to live. It's a beautiful building. It's now used for guided tours. You can go in, you can go see the rooftop view. And I think what the guy said now is, even though it was, the city hall's just around the corner, the people who work in the city hall live in this building now. Bath, let's do a bit of drawing then. I've been sort of starting this new series. I'm not sure what it's going to turn into yet, but I've had this idea for like these portraits of these kind of like travelers. I don't know, I was thinking just basically people on animals trekking across the desert, across the plains, across the galaxy, whatever it is. And I've done a couple of them. I drew them. They're on episodes that are like further down the line than this Sao Paulo episode. So this one here is not the first one I've done, but then this is one of those days where I didn't get the drawing done when I was out chilling in Sao Paulo. A little bit more exploring than drawing. So this was like a retrospective me sitting down, getting some drawing done, thinking, yeah, I'm going to put this in an episode. But then, yeah, like I said, I've been drawing this little series of these kind of travelers and trying to just flesh out a bit of a different style and keep them loose and fun and silly and whatever. And I think it's got scope. I want to... it's all I want to draw at the minute, these like warriors, these odd little monster blokes that you don't know from some distant place with just a little bit of a background setting. I'm excited. I was thinking, like, I always think whenever I start drawing a new series like this, I think of it for a calendar, because I did this cool calendar a couple years ago where all the drawings were like just monsters in situ around different scenes in Leicester, and it sold really well. Everyone was loving it, whatever. So I always think of like when I start drawing a new series or get this new idea, I'm like, cool, I should make it into like I always think a zine or a calendar is a cool one. But who knows what this is going to turn into. All I know is that I want to draw more of them. So I started off with this dude, this kind of camel sort of monster. I've started using some different brushes as well. Long-time viewers will know that the trusty Freycinet is still absolutely top of the pops. But then I found I had this little like textural pack, and some of them are like leather textures and things like that, and like a chalk texture that I've used before. But I started using them for like animal fur, or like the what do you call it? Is it called hide? I guess on like a cow or a camel or whatever, just to get that little realistic sort of texture. So I think we're going down this path, dudes. One thing I wish that I was good at is shading, and I feel like it sounds like such an obvious thing to I don't know, to have mastered. Like, yeah, you should learn to do that when you're like 15 or whatever. You're supposed to be some professional artist. But I'm bad with shading, man, and with shadows, and I never like commit to being dramatic enough with it to really truly learn from it and break new ground. And I'm kind of like, what should I do? I wonder if I could like crash course some YouTube videos for fundamentals just to like brush back up and then like start to apply that stuff. But I don't know, especially on this green dude, I felt like I just couldn't really get it. Sometimes I'll draw something and I'll be like dialed in, adding shading, whatever. Come back to it the next day and I'm just like, what was I thinking there? It doesn't even look at all how I wanted it to. I think as well, like I shade almost like, you know how the Simpsons do, if ever it's like the Simpsons movie or something, or you see something where they just had like a highlight and a low light at like say 2 p.m. and 7 p.m. or 8 p.m. I feel like I just do that. Whereas like, I don't know, some of these little characters, I reckon they could be a lot more fun if they had like some dramatic shading. So that's my homework. Here I'm thinking, let me give him a big like Middle Eastern sword, just because swords are cool. Here, like I'm saying, I want to make this look gleamy, glossy metal. You know what I should have done is put like the zigzag shines across the blade that I'll always put into like people's glasses. That'd be cool. I've been enjoying doing this as well on a couple of them, layering up like little fabric stuff or beads or something like that, or flowers even, just dotting over with the same few colours. Make a little pattern. Yeah, I'm thinking, let me get this guy tatted up. Black flag, bang, a little diamond, get the snake in there, tutu. Anything goes, that's the motto.
what's that called when you count to 5? A tally, like a little tally on his fingers, yeah. Blah, blah, blah. And then I've knocked the opacity of the brush down here just to add some shade into the tattoos, but I still kind of want them to look sort of flat. Whizzing through, put this text onto the knife. And then I'm thinking, let me draw in a little towel sort of that he's sitting on, add a bit of a texture to that. This is the good thing with the layers. This is the benefit. I can just draw in behind stuff. So if I keep the orange monster and the green guy on separate layers, bam, I can just go back in between, add that little towel in there, and it's all happy days. Same here with these like cosmic mountains in the background. Although it's getting techie, this is it. When I'll start drawing like this, there's multiple layers and I'm trying to like group stuff together and flatten stuff down, but inevitably it gets a bit stickier. I couldn't land on the background color. I felt like if I could turn back time, like that song, I'm going to change the color of his hair, I think, because ultimately I wanted it to be like some sort of dark blue color or whatever, but his hair was just almost sinking into it. So I couldn't really figure it. But yeah, I had a little play around. That's what I ended up with. Don't know what you guys think. Let me know. What's his name in his little Adidas swimmies? Looks like he's got a first-class concierge service, judging by the little silly hat. Not sure where he's off. Family first. Trekking across the galaxy.
Alright, so I'm off the metro. I'm here in Liberdade, or Japantown as people of Sao Paulo call it. Fun fact, did you know that Sao Paulo's got the biggest density of Japanese people outside of Japan? It's 2.7 million Japanese people live here, and they kind of all came to this neighborhood first in 1912. So another interesting fact, the reason why this neighborhood is called Liberdade, it's named after a guy, Francisco Jose das Chagas, also known as Chaguinhas, who was an Afro-Brazilian soldier in the early 19th century. So he was working for, I think, the Portuguese king at the time, went to him and said, look, I need money, the pay is no good. And then I think it was the Portuguese king, I'll double check, basically ordered his execution. And they used to have public hangings in this square. And so they went to hang him, the rope snaps one time, they go to hang him again, the rope snaps a second time, and all the people of the square start believing that it's divine intervention and calling for them to stop. Unfortunately, they were finally successful on the third time. The guy was hung, but hence why the square is called Liberdade, which is freedom in Portuguese. But yeah, I'm going to check out Japantown. I read online that there's like food, there's a bustling market, you can buy little souvenirs and stuff. The streets are lined with like traditional kind of Japanese lampposts, red lampposts, as if you were in Tokyo. So I'm going to go check it out. So I've just got to correct myself there. I'm looking and it says there's 5 million Japanese people in Brazil. In Sao Paulo, there's estimated about 270,000. So there's a whole bunch of them here, and apparently you can get really authentic Japanese food. So let's have a look. How busy it is, it's crazy. It's so Rama, and so far it's just a load of crap, you know, like little plastic toys and usual souvenirs that you'd find everywhere in Brazil. I feel overstimulated. There's a fat queue for food in this Japanese garden, look. Can you be bothered with that? What's the point? Surely there's got to be something else out on the street. Kind of makes sense, like that dude saying that Sao Paulo is one of the biggest cities in the world, and this is obviously one of the best things to do on a Saturday. So I think everyone and their dog's here, but Christ alive, I just want to get out. I thought I'd jump in, grab some gyoza or something, and I actually can't be bothered. I feel like you come off the main strip and it's alright, but most food places are queuing outside like this. Check that. I just don't know if I can be bothered to queue that long for some Japanese food just because I'm in the hood. Look. And it's like most of the shops, you're good if you want to buy like a fake football shirt or a key ring or something like that. There's Japanese supermarkets, but then everywhere that sells hot food is queuing out the door. Look. In my head, I'm thinking that there's going to be street vendors just selling little bits and bobs, and I've seen one or two in that garden they had a set up, but I don't want to wait for that.
Alright, got the Mardis, time to eat. Where are we? Kyoto Cafe and Restaurant. I was queuing here for about 5 minutes, then I got in and I seen they had gyoza in the window, which is what I was in the mood for. And then, because it's whatever, Saturday, Sunday, weekend, everyone's outside, gyoza sold out. So couldn't get the gyoza. I had a great view at the bar, sat at the back of the place. Take truly a table for one. And here's me getting my bits and bobs brought over. So I went for a little beef and broccoli kind of stir fry, which was pretty nice. The Karaage chicken, which was plentiful, big fat bowl of it, like 15-20 pieces or something. Look at the size of it as well, just a joke. I'm thinking get that involved, dip that in the gravy, not a problem. Back and forth, beef and brock with the rice underneath, fantastic. Gone for a little ice cold water. Actually don't mind sitting at the bar, you know. I've only just realised that's a thing recently, people being like, oh, do you mind sitting at the bar? Do you want to sit at the bar? Kind of like it, you know, if you're eating on your own, I feel like it's a pro move. And I don't even mind even like this, just facing the wall. Who cares? You got that weird phobia going where like you might get attacked from the back if some gunman comes in or something. But other than that, I feel like it's enough space for one. It's discreet, you're not in the way, you're not taking up a big table of 6 when there's a next party that wants to come in. I feel like, you know, it's maybe a good move. Don't know what I'm watching on my phone here, obviously something interesting. Coke Zero going straight down. Slap the Monzo card. £13.96, can't moan at that, I think that's a bargain.
Thank you, bye-bye. So at one time, Sao Paulo was the capital of Brazil, and because of that, it's still the financial capital, and it's the city where all the banking and the money and the stock exchanges and stuff like that. And so I bought a ticket to one of the buildings that was the national, what is it? Farol, Santander, Sao Paulo, one of the national banks, and you can head up to the 31st floor and get a panoramic view of the city. I'm thinking it's coming up to sunset, that's going to be a vibe, so finding my way down there now. See, I'm an idiot, man, so I come out here and obviously it's winter in this southern hemisphere. Sao Paulo feels significantly more south than Rio. It's freezing. It's like, what time is it now? It's about maybe 7 p.m. and it's bolts already. It's about 12 degrees and all I've packed is like shorts and t-shirts and stuff, so I feel like a div. I've got to find some bottoms or some jeans or something somewhere while I'm here, but Either way, that wraps up another episode, guys. A little tour around Sao Paulo's old town, clocking a bit of the history and taking in the views and stuff like that. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, leave a like or a comment or something. Thanks for watching. Socials are in the description, and I'll see you next time for another episode of Drawing and Exploring.